Hello and welcome to Two Girls, One Pod. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Crystal.
Crystal is having a laughing fit. We are in some mood here tonight. So,
Yeah.
just a
All
little
good.
update. We were told today there was an announcement made. So, in case you're wondering when we're recording, there was an announcement made that we are moving to level 2. So, what that means in Newfoundland is basically the best way that you could possibly live while living with COVID. So, yes, we do still have rules and strict regulations, but they're the freest of all of the regulations. So,
Well, it's where we were operating for months on end until all of a sudden we had this big outbreak. So we're super pumped.
it feels good. And we've had 3 days of like 15 degrees in March. So in Newfoundland, that's like fucking unheard of.
Yeah,
So I'm just in like the best place.
me too.
I'm in
Like,
such a
I'm
good
not even
mood.
joking. I'm just the best mood. I'm like having a great time, even though I'm just sitting at work, like
Mhm.
realistically, but I'm just like so happy. I'm sitting in the sun. I'm going for walks. I'm
It's
just
nice.
like, it's
I
so
My
good.
favorite thing right now is when I get up in the morning,
Mhm.
these little birds. So I live like by a river, and
Yeah.
these little birds sit in the tree outside my window. So like when I'm cooking breakfast, like I've been opening the window the last couple of mornings and I'm like cooking the baby eggs and there's little birds in the tree by the river and I'm like
You're
it
like
just makes my soul
real life
happy.
Snow White.
I really feel like real life Snow White, except for oh no, I talk to animals. They don't talk back to me, but anyway.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
we have a lot to dive into because anybody listening, Crystal and I do not talk about Big Brother during the week. Like we do, but we
Which is
don't
really
discuss
hard.
anything that goes on in the house because we want to make sure that we save it all for these episodes, that we're not kind of like discussing something and then leaving it out or talking strategy. We want to be really authentic in our recordings. So this week it was really hard because I think after I watched the eviction episode last week, I wrote her and I was like, holy shit, I cannot
Yeah.
wait to talk about this. And like that was before tonight's episode, and tomorrow's another eviction, and Mondays. And anyway, so we got a lot to
We're
unravel. So
playing catch
what
up.
did you think about last week? So we'll start off. Whoever is listening, if you haven't seen episodes 8, 9, and 10 of Big Brother Canada, there
Stop
are
now.
spoilers. So like go back and watch it or just get over it. You're gonna be spoiled.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing that we left on a cliffhanger was Jedson gonna use POV?
Right.
And he did
And
not.
you predicted no. I predicted
Mhm.
yes. And you were right.
I
I will
know.
let you have this one this time.
I'm pretty
See how
pumped.
it goes.
And I was right about all my predictions last week. So anybody who listened last week, if you haven't seen the show, you know what's happening just based on that.
Yeah.
Um, I was tickled when he didn't use it. I was so pumped because I was really proud of Vic. Cause like her mind games that I know you're dying for her to go home, but her mind games that she used on him
Yeah.
to tell him like, I'm gonna put Ty up if you take Latoya down, I'm gonna put Ty up. That
Hmm.
really fucked with his head. So it might have
It
pissed him
did.
off, but he didn't use it for that reason. So that was really
Oh,
smart,
100%. Yeah.
really
It
smart
was. It was
strategy.
really good. It was really good gameplay.
Mhm.
But first off, I did make a note of this. First off, I have to say that Arissa's dress was fucking amazing.
Oh, I didn't make a note of it. I'm gonna go back and rewatch.
It was just so pretty.
She's
Like, it was
always on
super,
point.
she is, but it was like super fuchsia, and then it had like a half like strapless, and then the other side was like a one arm. Anyway, it was just beautiful. Go back and watch it again.
I will. I'll have to
Gorgeous.
make note
Loved
because
it.
I just like sit down and I'm like, okay, give me the gameplay. Like I'm there with
Yeah.
my notebook. I'm like
I couldn't help but notice it. And like, me in pink, so that's just,
that was just
I was
it.
just automatic.
I love your
Anyway.
hair, by the way. I know I've already said this to you, but it
Thank
looks
you.
gorgeous. How does it
Thanks.
feel?
Not too bad. Right now it just feels like I need to do something with it, but I'm
You
not
look
going to.
even more. Okay, so yeah, I really think that Victoria is a great player, though.
I think that she definitely has some really great strategy. Although that being said, once the whole thing went down,
Yes,
like Latoya walked right on past her, which I thought was hilarious because I'm like, for somebody who was literally pitching, like, don't play emotionally, that was
I
like the
wrote the
most emotional
same.
response.
I wrote the same thing down. I said, um, Okay, no, that's on like it's a few pages away. But basically, that was I remember writing down for somebody who keeps saying I'm not an emotional player, you
Yeah.
just got evicted and you're not even gonna hug or goodbye. Like that's clearly emotional.
Yeah, but the funny
Like,
thing about it was is that I was waiting for it because of course we knew like
mhm,
that realistically that was the target. And I
mhm.
was sitting there and I was just looking at Jason. I was like, I can't wait to see her face,
I
right?
wanted to see the blind side face.
And then she literally did
You
nothing. And
knew.
I looked at Jason, I was like, what the fuck was that? And he was like,
Mhm.
well, what did you expect? She literally is emotionless.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong.
I think she just has a really good poker face.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Yeah. How awkward was it when they were talking about how they got to get out Victoria and she was around the corner and heard them?
Literally died laughing.
I
Literally
was
died
so
laughing.
happy.
And then, like, and I made a note of it too, because the funny thing is like she was around the corner, and then the next thing you know, they're sitting at the table and she's over at like the breakfast bar, and they're
They're
just like,
still
oh no,
talking
there's no
about it.
way that she could talk, that she could hear it, right? And then Latoya's like, nope, and she's like, yep.
Yep. And then they're like, what? What are you talking about? She's like, I'm answering a
I'm answering a
question. And
question.
she just got up and left. I loved it.
But
I have
then,
to say, no, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Oh, but
it's
then she
different.
got up and she was just like, then she got up and she's like, oh, I hate this house. I'm going to cry. And I was just like, oh, fuck off somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. You were starting to like her, and then you're like, nope, still don't like her.
Yep. Yep. It switched
Yeah.
pretty quick.
No, I was just gonna say, I have to say, like, I just said this to my husband before I came downstairs. I was like, I fucking love Canadian Big Brother. Like,
Yes.
everyone is ruthless. They just they play the game. Like, it's somehow more and less dramatic at the exact same time,
I know it's really good. I
you
gotta say,
know?
like
And
I'm
I'm
enjoying
liking,
it.
yeah, they're not voting with the house. They're not like doing this. It's every week isn't predictable. Like this last week, there were
Yeah.
so many side turns that I'm just like writing notes everywhere. And I'm like, I'm not liking some of the things that are happening, but I'm
Right.
loving them for the purpose of like being shocked. Like I'm interested, I'm excited to tune in every week. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just have to say that. Like, and I don't know why I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
it's
know.
fantastic.
But also, you know what else pissed me off right after the eviction?
What?
Why on earth, A, did Vic look at Jed and be like, oh, by the way, I was never going to put Ty up anyway? Like, why would you even say
It
that
was the
to him? Like,
stupidest
what was
thing
the
ever.
purpose?
I think she said that because she, in her mind, because I do think she made a couple of like bad decisions this week, but
Oh, yeah.
in her mind, that was her still playing both sides. So she thought that she
Yeah.
could somehow smooth it over with them, I think.
But that was like, but that was the worst way to go about it, though. It was like you realistically, all you did was just tell him that you lied to his face so
And he's
that he
not
would
going to
do what
trust
you
you again.
wanted, and he's not
Mhm.
going to trust you,
It was a
right?
really bad game move. I feel like she should have just took the hit when she put Latoya up and put Latoya
Yes.
out. That was the line drawn. She could have
Hmm.
tried to get back on their good side in other ways, but not expect that. Like I feel like after that she thought that they believe that they're still working with her or something. Like she dug herself into a little bit of a bigger hole too, trying to turn
Yeah.
on Beth. Like what was
Right?
that?
What was
First
that
I was
all
like,
about?
I wrote down good strategy and then I went, no, bad strategy. It was like first I thought it was good and immediately I was like, no, this is not going to work out for you.
Because all she was hoping was that she was going to cause this huge dramatic scene and that Beth was going to say,
She
oh, I didn't do that. But the funny thing was, is like, I don't think that she realized, like, you don't know this person enough to know how they're going to react in those situations. So what you
yeah.
just did was bank on the fact that everybody's like going to come back at you, but not
Mhm.
everybody is that way,
No,
right?
and I don't like Beth like at all.
No, me either.
But I
No.
really loved her reaction when Vic
Yep.
tried to like blow her up. She was like, okay, yes, I did.
Yep.
She
Yep.
just rolled down and was like,
But you know
say
what?
whatever you're gonna say. I'm not giving you the reaction that you want. And that pissed
Exactly.
Victoria off. And I was like, this is exactly how you're supposed to react to those situations.
Yeah, but then the worst part was, I think I got a note there. Oh yeah. Where, okay, so like she's friggin', she goes upstairs and then she's like, oh, I'm just gonna go and cry.
Yeah,
Every
she says that
time
all
that
the
she got
time.
into this situation where it's like things weren't going exactly the way that she wanted to while she was lying,
Mhm.
She would just be like, oh my God, I'm so upset. I'm just gonna go cry. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? Nobody fucking says that before they cry.
No. And she
I've never
can't,
said that.
I think, yeah, I'm just gonna cry. Usually it's like anger,
I am
anger,
not gonna
anger,
cry.
anger, bawling. Like,
Right?
I don't say anything. I'm just like getting really, really mad, and then I say nothing, and then I just start crying.
Exactly, right? I'm like, stop being so fake. God.
Oh my God, I know. And then fucking like it's always when she's lying. Like at first I was thinking she
Always.
was a really good liar, and now
Mm-mm.
I think she's just a really good game player. But I mean, they're in the house long enough now that the lies are becoming predictable,
Yeah.
and people know what they're dealing with. You know,
Yeah, for
they
sure.
understand it now, right? So,
Yeah, definitely.
TNT,
Love them. You know
like
I do.
so good. The Tina and Tara show,
Oh
so
my God.
funny.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think that they're smart too. Like I like that they were sat together, and Tara, I wrote a quote down that she said, me and you just need to sit back and let the snakes fight the snakes.
yes.
So
Yeah.
like it's a great strategy. They are going to be looked at as floaters for that reason.
Oh, for sure.
And like they're not winning competitions, so that's so like it's that if they make it to the end, it's not going to go good for them to try to convince other people why they deserve to win.
No.
But unless they can explain the certain situations that they were doing, like the puppet master in the background, you know what I
Right.
mean? But
And
I
I think if they
definitely
can
think it's a good
float long
strategy.
enough
Mhm.
and
Then
then
start
start
winning.
pulling it out, then
Yeah.
they'll be all right.
Yeah,
You
'cause
know?
they are like they're doing so well. Like they're very low on everybody's radar.
Oh,
Nobody is
definitely.
gunning for them, and they're like a really good pair.
Yep, they are.
You know, they're
Yeah.
fun to
I'm
watch.
really
Like
enjoying them.
I do too.
Um,
Yeah, I was laughing at right before Latoya went. They were like, you
yeah,
know, do you have anything to say? And she said, Victoria has made her wishes clear, and I hope you all honor her wishes. I was
I
like,
know.
no, you going home.
Like you don't even know, right?
Mhm.
I did find it funny though, like that while they were going through the episode, it was like Latoya basically was just like, oh, I'm not going to campaign because, you know, Victoria's already made her wishes. And I'm just like, why are you so stupid?
Oh
Like,
my God. It bugged me that she kept saying that she wasn't going to campaign. Like she was saying she didn't have to campaign from pride.
right,
Like she's very proud. And she was like, listen, I'm not going to ask your vote. I'm not going to do that to Kiefer. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And I was like, do you know what show you're on? It's the same thing as what
right?
I was saying about Kiefer last week, even though
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like, you know, it's the same kind of thing. It's like you are on this show to do those things. Like do them.
yes. And
Just fucking
anytime
do
that you're
them.
on the block, campaign.
Always.
If you
How
want to
many times
stay,
have you seen a pawn go home?
exactly. Like, have you
Like,
never watched the show ever?
come on. I do love a good blindside though, so I was
I
thrilled.
do too. It was a
And
good one.
I love the look on Kiefer's face when Arissa announced that the vote was 6-3. Like
Mm,
his eyes just kind of lit up. It was like when she said that there was a split vote, he was like, holy shit, am I staying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
like, and he did. Right?
yeah, he did,
Yeah, she hugged everybody
which
except
was
Vic.
good.
Oh,
Also, go ahead.
no, we're gonna say the same thing.
No, I don't know if we are.
No? Okay, you go. I'm headed
I
towards the end of
was,
the episode.
oh gosh, okay. In which case, I was going to talk about the bingo game.
Okay.
So I just want to tell you, Beth sucks, and I could have totally rocked that fucking backwards alphabet, like
I
1000%.
I made a note that I would not have been able to do the backwards alphabet at all.
Dude,
Like I actually wrote that down.
I would have spit that shit out in 2 seconds and won that.
I love how opposite we're figuring out that we are because we're so
I
alike, but
know.
we're so different.
I know.
This
It's funny, hey?
this podcast is making our friendship even better, I think.
It is, I think.
Yeah, it was just so funny. Like he's
Yeah,
pumped. He's
he
pumped.
is
And
pretty
then
excited.
they announced level 2 today, and he's like I'm pretty sure I'll be like at the store all week, just fucking
Yeah,
like
for
checking
sure.
off the list. I'll have to put in a special order.
Right.
Yeah, so that was off topic, but yes, very
Yes.
excited.
Yeah.
So when we're getting back to Big Brother, this
Mhm.
fucking HOH competition,
Mhm.
I honestly was sat there going, is Kiefer gonna fucking win? After all the trash talking that we did about him last week, after
Yeah.
all the notes that I wrote about what a shitty Big Brother player he is he going to win? Yes.
Yes. Yes
Yes.
is the answer.
Like
Simple one.
what a great show though.
But he did, and he won it. And you know what? I knew he was going to win that one because
I
I
did
was
too.
just like, he needed to turn that shit around, right? He
You know
needed
what?
that win.
He did, and he definitely isn't the playing with his heart guy that he was, which I like.
Yeah.
However, I still don't think he's a good Big Brother player. Like, he's not good, Crystal.
I
He
think
might have
he's
made some decent moves, but he's not a good player.
I mean, I don't know how to like there's no conniving. Like you need to be a little bit more
But he thinks he's like a master.
slippery.
Like he's like,
Yeah,
oh, you signed up for Big Brother. I'm like, 2 weeks ago, you put yourself on the block because you did something wrong. Like, fuck off. Don't give me that
right.
shit.
Yeah.
And Austin with the tie though.
Yeah, right. And then they
I know.
promised each other,
I know. I'm
right?
oh my God, this fucking week of TV has been
Yep,
so good. So
I
good.
know.
Okay.
Where
Monday
else?
night's episode. Do you have anything else from
From Monday. Monday was, relatively non-eventful. If no, not really. I'm looking. Oh my God, Vic sucking up really made me want to vomit. I almost
what
threw
to
up in my
who?
mouth to everybody, to fucking everybody.
I
Like, and then
don't love
going
her as
in,
much as I did. I
and it's
don't
just like,
dislike her yet.
if you need any explanation as to what happened, like after Kiefer won, because then all of a sudden she was just like trying to backpedal her whole bullshit fucking
Mm-hmm.
thing. And she's just like, and then when Kiefer won HOH, and she just like goes over and she's listening to the letter like everybody else. And then she goes over and she's just like, oh my God, such a good letter. I'm going to give you a tissue. I'm just like, ugh.
You
I hate
so
her so
much.
much.
I feel like this is how I would be if Josh had to stay.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, what else? What other note did I make? It was something about LaToya going home. And like, oh yes, LaToya went home, I feel, on account of her big mouth, right? Like she got
Oh,
to the
yeah.
point where she was
Easy.
not her big mouth, sorry. That came out wrong. Her playing the house too hard.
Yeah.
It's like she got into this like I'm gonna
She was
play
trying to
everybody,
push.
right?
Yeah.
And I just thought that was like perfect irony because she's the reason that Julie went home the week before for the same reason.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
she's got, or 2 weeks before, and then now
Yeah.
she's gone home for the same reason. I just thought that was
Yeah.
like very poetic.
Too hard, too fast.
Mhm.
It's like you're still very early. You still kind of got to like,
When you're already looked at as a threat because you're a strong
yeah.
competitor and you've aligned with strong competitors. So like
Yeah.
people are
So you
gunning
need
for
to kind of
you.
like take it down a notch on the other side, right?
Mhm.
To kind of
Yeah,
balance yourself out.
absolutely. Yeah.
I
So
say like I've played.
I know. We know. We've played in our mind. Just because they didn't pick us to be on the show doesn't mean that we aren't good players.
That's true. That's a
As
good
we were
point.
seeing a little bit. No, we're not seeing that from Kyle.
No,
Kyle's
I
terrible.
would suck.
So
Kyle.
what did
Ugh.
you think about Kiefer
Yeah.
winning and then staying aligned with the Sunsetters, who were the only people in the house who voted him out?
I actually, I can see his point to a certain extent because he was sitting there, thinking to himself, like, I already have this alliance with these people. How would it look if I went to the other side and started being like, oh, well, I haven't talked to you all this time, but you know what I mean? So, and then
I
also
do, but I don't.
it kind of threw people off because then people were kind of like, what is he doing?
They voted him out. So that I thought was good. So I've been back and forth and I made a couple of separate
I
notes
know.
about that.
Yeah.
But like what I was thinking of, hang on now, I'm going to edit this part out. My phone is still turned up. So I'm going to turn my volume off. Okay. So what I'm thinking about with him is like, first I thought it was really stupid because I'm like,
Yeah.
they all just voted you out. And he's like, oh, well, I'm already aligned with them. Now I got to work on aligning with somebody else. And I'm like, okay, great. But like, how good is your alliance if they all just voted you out? Like they've already shown their cards that if it comes down to you and another member, like tell me if Kiefer goes up on the block against Jed or Ty or Beth,
Any of them.
any of them are going to save him. He is just
No.
an extra number for their trio. He's
Yes.
not an alliance member.
No.
Right. So that's where I thought that he was stupid. I felt like, but then as the episodes progressed, I was thinking, you know what? It's not the worst decision.
No,
maybe
he's
what
just
he
not
should have
burning
been
bridges.
doing. Yeah, because I felt like when he was on the block, I felt like he did mend a lot of other of broken bridges. Like he mended
Yeah.
a lot of them.
Hmm.
And he seemed to be able, like he seemed like him and Vic, I thought were gonna be a good alliance. Or
Right.
like, right? Like that would have been smart, like a secret one.
Hmm.
And he seemed to really hit it off with Tara and Tina. It's like there
Yes.
were other places that he could have kind of like shifted in. And I thought he would have done a good job. But
Hmm.
now I'm thinking, if he's smart, I don't think he's going to do this because I don't think he's a smart Big Brother player. But if he's smart, he should continue with his little Sunsetters Alliance and
Hmm.
use that team as a shield, because as
Yeah.
long as he's in their alliance, they're going to protect
Go
him
before
unless
him.
he's on the block. Like they're going to try
Right.
to help him, right?
Yep.
So he could use them as a shield, let other people go after them, and he can
Hmm.
kind of like duck down behind them
Yeah.
while starting to branch off and align with other people. So,
Which I think he is. Like he's had conversations with in this episode, like he ends up having conversations with Tina and Tara
mhm.
and kind of suggests to them like, I would like to work with you guys. I think that the three of us could go far,
He
kind
said,
of
I hate
thing.
everybody else in this house, so I don't want
Yeah.
you to go anywhere. I loved
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, later on we see him talking to Vic and everybody else is branched off in twos,
Mhm.
but just the two of them are kind of like their own little people just off in the distance kind of
I don't
thing or
think he's
whatever, right?
smart enough to make the other alliances. I don't. I think he thinks that it's ride or die with this Sunsetters, and then because he's playing Big Brother, quote unquote, but he's still
Supposedly.
playing with a conscience. Like he thinks
Yeah.
he's not playing with a conscience, but he is. So
Yeah.
he feels like because he said he was going to be loyal to this group, he's going to stay loyal to this group. And I think that's going to be, I think he's in a really good position right now to branch out of that
Yeah.
and make some power moves. He's had a pretty powerful HOH,
Yeah.
even if it is based on what other people are telling him to do. He's still making some big moves. And I think that like if he moves forward and cuts out his alliance and kind of trims in with somebody else,
Yeah.
he could be a really good player and make it to the end and would deserve to win. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to go that route. I think that the Sunsetters is going to be the death of them.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think the problem is that he's so stuck on the loyalty. And it's like we said before, you're playing this game that, yes, you do have to have some semblance of loyalty to certain people, but at the same time, like you can't possibly have 100% loyalty to somebody. You have to screw somebody over eventually. So
Yeah.
you also have to make sure that your bases are covered. And I think he really needs to cover his bases.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's
And I
just
don't
not.
think he's going to.
No, and I mean, like realistically, I just looked at it, and there was one point in the episode where Beth and Jed and Ty were in the pantry, and they were legitimately talking about what he should do with his HOH, and he wasn't even there.
Yeah, because he didn't run his HOH. They ran
No,
his
because
HOH.
they were trying to make the decision for him. Now, granted, I mean, he did what he wanted to do to a certain extent, because let's be honest, he has a grudge against Ro at this point, which I found funny.
I know, because like,
I'm like, Kyle's the
why?
one that came at you.
It
Like,
doesn't, like, his grudge against Ro does not make sense.
not
It
really.
doesn't
No.
make sense. I guess it's just a personality clash. But
Maybe I
like,
think he just feels betrayed by Ro because, like, I think in the beginning the two of them were a little bit closer, and then all of a sudden, I don't think he was as
buddy with
close to Kyle.
Mhm.
So then once Ro went a little more buddy with Kyle, he felt more betrayed than anything else, I guess, right?
Mhm.
But
Yeah, that would make
anyway,
sense. But yeah, like, and again, that's playing with your emotions, right? Like,
yeah,
so
and that's
yeah,
it.
I believe like he put up them as a duo. I still don't think that was 100%. I mean, maybe putting them up was his plan, fine, and it wasn't the worst move. I
No,
thought
it
it was a
wasn't.
pretty decent like duo to put up.
Yeah,
But then I'm like, are we even at veto yet? We're still in a different
yeah.
episode. Okay,
No, we're
yeah.
still in the other
So
episode. Yeah,
like, well, even so, putting them up, I thought was a pretty good call on his
yeah.
behalf.
Well, I mean,
But
he had a couple to choose from. They were probably the most
like Tara
threatening.
and Tina would have been a floater thing. That would have been an
Yeah.
easy move, I
And I
believe.
think Austin and Braden really are too, as far as everybody can tell.
And
It
you
like
know what?
people look at them like they're dummies.
Uh-huh. They're I can't even get into I'm so mad about this last episode. But fucking with Kiefer putting them up, Kyle and Bro are kind of floaters too. Like, I don't understand how they're not floaters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not winning anything. They're not really like, they're just
No.
kind of like macho. They're just kind of like
Yeah.
these masculine energies in the house. Does that mean that like you're not a floater? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're floaters. I don't
Yeah.
think they've done anything. Well, until now.
But I did find it kind of funny though that that Kyle and Ro kind of went to Jed and Ty afterwards in like the Expedia room, and they were just like throwing Fergie and Vic under the bus. And like the funny part about it is they were actually telling them the truth,
And they didn't
and
believe him.
they didn't
Loved it.
believe them. I'm like, I literally wrote a note, and I'm like, Jed and Ty, you are terrible at
Yeah.
reading people.
Oh,
Terrible.
The worst.
Right?
The worst.
Like you suck at it.
Yeah. They're really giving, like, they're starting to give a lot of, what's the word? Truth to the dumb jock stereotype.
Yes.
I'm like, guys.
I'm like, guys, step it up a notch here.
Come
Like,
on, right?
seriously.
Yeah.
But I do feel like Ro's game is affected by Kyle. I think Kyle is so aggressive that he brings that out in Ro.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Ro normally would have been a really, because I like him. I like him as a player. I think
Yeah.
he's good. I would love at this point for Kyle to go home.
Yeah.
Because I think that Ro could play better without him. I'm obsessed with Austin. Spoiler. Yeah, she went up on the fucking block and I'm still mad about it, and we'll get into it. But
Yep.
Anyway. But yeah, I definitely think that Ro would be playing a better game if Kyle went home.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
I also made a note about Kiefer in the Expedia room. Was that not the best TV you've ever watched when he noticed that room?
Literally, he goes down and he's like not even awake, and he's just like
I've never seen someone try to do things so fast, so slowly.
Right? And he's just running around, and he's just like, and all I could think was like,
in shock.
why are you not spending more time in here while there's nobody else awake?
He was so, he was just like so eager, I guess, to like, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. He was like, he looked in like 3 places. He like looked under a cushion, and then he just moved from like couch to couch and just sat down, looked around.
I know. And then he runs back upstairs, and then everybody's there. I'm just like, well, that was silly. You could have like used that opportunity. And it doesn't seem like anybody's looking.
No, I don't. I think that they figure that the screen is what's gonna happen, which obviously is.
Maybe,
but
yeah.
I don't think there's anything extra in there. But the funny thing is that when he runs up to tell the guys, they're like, "Why are you running like that?" And he's like, "Come on, let's go." And he like boots it back down over the stairs, and the guys like slowly get up. Beth doesn't even get out of bed. She just stays there.
Yeah. And then he goes in the room, and he's just like, "Oh, I can't run."
He's like, "I'm not a runner. I don't run or something."
Like, it's okay, man. We know.
So funny. We feel you. We feel you so hard. Yes.
Yeah. But what else did I make a note of? Oh, I was like, at one point, friggin' after the Wendy's situation with Tina and Kiefer, and then Tina and Tara are in the bathroom with Ro. I'm like, Ro, why do you not take that toothbrush out of your fucking face while you're trying to talk? Nobody understands what you're saying. Jesus Christ,
Dentists
man.
are the only people who know what you're trying to say right now.
Right?
Or moms of toddlers.
Seriously. And not even them.
Like, come on.
Right?
I cracked up at Austin in the ball pit. So when they showed Austin in the ball pit talking to herself, I thought she was about to find a power.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, she's just talking strategy to the cameras.
Yes.
And then Kyle started talking. It was so good.
I know. She was just like I legitimately thought she was talking to nobody. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden there's like some voice coming, and I'm just like, I don't even know whose voice that is.
Did she know he was in there? Like, that was another thought I had. Like, obviously she did after seeing it. But my first, I was like, was she just saying all that strategy? And like, he just sat in there taking it all in? Because that's kind of.
That would have been good. It would have been smart.
I kind of want to go there now to be that player. Just like, I'm just going to sit in the balls today.
Yeah, right?
You might find out something.
That's too funny. Yeah, it was good. So, I like that one.
Ro and Kyle, I wrote good for you, Kiefer.
Yeah.
And then that brings us to tonight's episode. I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. I'm just like beside myself. So what are my notes here? I said Ro is right. It's not the best move for Kiefer to nominate them, but
No.
it's also sour grapes.
Yeah.
That Ro is saying that, and I don't think
Mhm.
it's the worst move for him.
No. I mean, given the options that he had and trying to keep the alliance that he has currently, at least happy to a certain extent, just so that they can kind of still be together.
Yeah.
Like you said, as a shield, if nothing else. But I don't think that's really his plan.
Well, I was looking at it and I've already touched on it a little bit, but I made some notes that said like he's creating allies with strong competitors. So like he's hiding behind the Sunsetters. Like that's not the worst move. He's nominating big competitors, which they seem to be big competitors, like aside from, he's nominating people that other people deem as a threat.
Right.
And he could start to drift into another alliance and ride the Sunsetters as a shield. So that's what I touched on before. Like that's something that I think he could do well, but I don't think he will do it.
I'm kind of hoping. I'm like crossing my fingers for the guy because, and he does say at one point, like when he's talking to Tina, he's like, we came into this house together. He's like, maybe we could keep going kind of thing.
I mean,
So
he is a super fan. So maybe
he
he is
is.
just like tricking me too.
Maybe.
I don't
Never
know. I
know.
don't like him. I want him to go home. I'm done with him. I'm done with your wishy-washiness. It is driving me crazy that nobody found a secret room in the ball pit yet.
I know.
I'm like,
but I still think it's there. There's
every
definitely
time I see
something.
the arrows, every time they're in there and they're talking and I look at the arrows, I'm like,
there's something.
Get down and dig. Like dig with your feet, move some stuff around, do something.
Right.
Maybe
just
they
stop
do
playing
every
in the
day.
balls.
They probably just don't show us.
Maybe. But then I'm like, I'm gonna pause but then I'm trying to watch. So there's not enough time to actually look. And then I don't get a full view of like every single wall. So then I don't know. And I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be there, I'm sure of it.
I'm not digging that hard. I'm just more or less yelling at my TV, being like, find something.
Right.
Go find a power.
Why are you not swimming to the bottom?
I loved when Tina and Tara were talking about all the other house guests and how gross they are.
Oh my god.
that would be me and you.
It's like, why are these people like they chop up all of this stuff and it's just left out on the counter all day? And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds exactly like a mom thing to say too, right?
Yeah.
And
she's
like,
the I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
It's like Ty left his clothes on the bed for 3 hours the other day, and then when he went to fold it, he was wondering why it was wrinkly. But aren't they young? Like how old? See, I don't think the cast is too young. They're in their late 20s.
They're definitely late 20s, and some of them might be like at the 30 mark, maybe. But like, maybe they probably. I mean, Ty like is really close with his mom and his grandmother, so they probably do all that shit for him. Like, you know what I mean?
I guess, but yeah, it was really funny. I really enjoyed them.
It was really funny
because they were making fun of them in a nice way. Like they were making fun of like who they are.
What I found really funny though is just like, yeah, when you're on slop and you're like so hungry, everybody just like pisses you off, and I'm just like, yeah, me and Melissa would be like that. Like we would probably stab people
with
like
100%. Doubt. We've done it. I go on a diet, and by the 4th hour, I'm fucking hangry. I'm like, don't talk to me. I didn't get any sugar today.
Fajitas in front of me?
Excuse me?
I don't even want to smell that shit.
Do you remember when, okay, listeners, okay, so I was quote unquote dieting one time, and I had like cooked up meals or something, and like I had a pork chop left in the fridge. And I came home from work, and that was supposed to be like my last meal of the day.
She was so excited for it.
When I opened up the fridge, the fucking pork chop was gone. And my husband had eaten the pork chop, and I was really, really upset about it, and I cried.
It was so funny.
This was day one of this particular diet. I had eaten regular meals all day, but my pork chop was gone, and I had already cooked it, and I did not want to cook another one because another thing that you don't know about me is I fucking hate cooking. So I cried. And my husband's like, do you want me to cook you another pork chop? And I was like, no, I don't. And I was like savage. And then I went into my room, and I aggressively texted Crystal and my best friend Selena in our group chat about how angry I was that Drew ate my pork chop and how like I was mad at him. Like,
It
and
was
it
really
was like
funny.
it was angry. Like it was angry text. Like my thumbs were sore
Oh yeah.
from going so fast.
Well, let's put it this way. Like you're still talking about it and it's been like
4
3 years.
Yeah,
Like,
it was before I got pregnant, and Scarlett will be 2 tomorrow. So
yeah, that's
like
what I'm saying,
that's a
right?
long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Anyway, yeah. So I get hangry. Like
Yeah.
don't. I'm Joey from Friends. Like any Friends fans who watch it and they understand that like Joey doesn't share food. That's
Yep.
me.
That's
I'll
us.
buy candy
100%.
and eat it in my car because my kid doesn't get the candy. It's mine. I bought it for
Yeah,
me. I'll buy her her own candy.
exactly.
She doesn't get mine. Like,
Maybe.
no. Well, lots of
Right.
times too, Crystal, before I even had Scarlett, we would go up to your cabin and I would
Yes.
pick up candy from Bulk Barn and I would eat it in the car on the way up. And then I would hide it in my bag like Jill. So another one of the girls that goes to the cabin with us, she always brings like this like big old thing of candy for all the kids that go up there.
Like an assortment.
Like an assortment, and they love it and they love her and it's wonderful. And I'm always like, fuck that. I'm keeping my candy in my bag and I eat it privately in my room before bed. Like, you don't get this candy.
Right?
That's
It's
me.
like, also, kids, can I have a piece of your candy that
yeah.
Jill brought up?
And I've done that. Yes. I also
Yes.
eat the candy that Jill
Me too.
brings up because I'm like, hey,
Yep.
free candy.
Looks great.
Anyway, now that we know what a great person I am. Back
Like,
to the show.
would you take candy from a baby? Yes,
Yes.
I would.
Yes. That's
Yes.
just dangerous. You're not supposed to have it anyway. For one,
Right?
it's a choking hazard until they're like 5. And then after 5, it's bad for their teeth. So
I'm doing you a favor.
you're welcome, every child that I see with candy. So I guess now, based on the fact that we know who is nominated tonight, I made a showman's alert. I'm like, possible showman's to look out for, but I guess not. I guess they're nipping that in the bud.
What do you mean? Like
Kyle and
who?
Austin.
Like Kyle and Austin? Yeah, I was thinking about that after the ball pit. I was like, are they gonna hook up? And then I'm just
But
like,
Brayden
I don't
made
know.
a comment about it, and they were like flirty. You missed the first half of this episode, didn't you?
No, I watched the whole thing.
She was braiding his hair, and Brayden was like talking in the diary room about it, and then Austin was like, I don't want to see Kyle go home, and she was like, give a little grin.
Ugh.
And then see how close they sat together on the couch.
No, I never really noticed that. See,
when they nominated her, she was like on top of him. I was like, lady, there's a lot more room there. Like,
right.
you're not
I
a
may
big
have
girl, you can
also
move
been
over.
intermittently putting children to bed at the same time. I was just trying not to miss things, but then I did anyway.
Oh yeah, I feel that. That. So yeah, so I guess there isn't going to be a showman. I just hope that I kind of hope that this is happening for a reason so that Kyle can go home and not be a distraction, because I kind of want Austin to win it.
Yeah.
I like her. Yeah, I'm getting to that point. I mean, besides Tina, I also do love Tina, but she's gonna need to start pulling out some games. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so I made a note there. I said I still love Austin, and I think that she has a good chance of winning.
I think I'm just a little disappointed that I am disappointed that Kiefer kind of like took back his promise. And I understand that he is playing Big Brother and stuff like that. But like, why is the promise to Austin any better than the promise he made to Vic? Because realistically, he's only keeping her off of the block because she kept her promise from last week.
The better promise to break, I think, would have been to Vic, because Kiefer made a promise to Austin when 2 of them were like in the HOH, like about to win.
That's
HOH,
what I mean.
Right. So like what he's doing is he's showing that his word in an HOH competition is not loyal. So if he ever gets down to a competition for endurance and he's up with somebody in the final 2 and he says, if you drop, I'll keep you. Nobody's going to trust him because they're not going to believe him because he's going back on his word.
Yep. And realistically, if he had to just put up Vic, he would have had Kyle and he would have had Vic. But so somebody good would have went home one way or another. But I think the thing is that if he had put Vic up, he knows that Vic would have went.
And he doesn't want her to go. Yeah.
He doesn't want her to go. He wants Kyle to go.
Yeah. But Kyle's not going to go against Austin. Well, maybe. I hope he will. I hope he does, but I really feel like he only put up Austin because that's what Ty told him to do. Like the other players are playing his HOH for him. I don't think that Austin was his decision, because there are other people in that house that he could have put up. Like, why didn't you put up Brayden? He didn't make a
Yeah.
promise to Braden, and he's part of the duo that he's trying to split up. He put up Austin because Ty told him to.
Somewhat, I think, but then besides that, we've also seen Austin win things, and you know what I mean? So
She's a better
like
competitor.
she is a better competitor. So, but I do think that he probably just put her up more or less because he's still hoping that Kyle goes. Like, I don't think he wants her to go,
No, I think
right?
Kyle's still his target, but
Yeah.
I think he's clueless too. Like, you know,
He's still being played, I think, is the problem.
absolutely.
Also, P.S. I'm sitting here and I'm just like at the end of the episode that I also made a mental note of because I didn't even write it down. I
Mhm.
was like, here they are playing chess. And then all of a sudden, Ty and Kiefer, right? And I'm
Yep.
sitting here thinking that fucking Ty is an idiot the entire season so far, like a
And then he
fucking
beats him.
moron.
He's like,
And then
checkmate.
he beats him and he's just like, oh, that was a checkmate. That was a good job. And
Yep.
and I'm just like, what the fuck just
It was
happened?
really cool TV too because he did the checkmate right as they were talking about like nominations and everything. So like it was just so fucking cool.
It was good.
Good direction, Big Brother
Right?
Canada. Good
Way to go.
direction. Yeah.
Kudos.
Um,
Definitely.
I did make a note while I was watching it. Like some notes I make, the answer comes up before the show's over.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but basically, I made a note. Do I believe that Kiefer wants to actually backdoor someone, or is he just saying that? Because I thought that that was a cool strategy. That
Yeah.
he was telling the people on the block, like, yeah, go ahead, win it, because I'm open for a backdoor.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's a decent strategy because that's letting people feel a little bit more comfortable while they are on
Right.
the block. But then it does backfire and they win the HOA or they win the POV. And now you've got to put someone up. And I guess so that's where it was answered for me because then he was like, fuck, who do I put up?
Well, I think it kind of was a good strategy in the sense that he was still trying to make sure that he had things smoothed over just in case. So like if Roe actually did come down off, he's just like, well, yeah, I wouldn't care if he came down. If he came down, that's great. Good for
Exactly.
you.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. He's like, I'm happy about it.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, I
So
thought that was really good too. That Fido competition had me tired.
it was so funny.
It was so hard. Can you imagine doing that competition? I
No.
was sore watching them.
Dude, I can't imagine doing any of these competitions. I'm just like, nope, too much.
See, some of them I do think I could do. Like this one, we probably would have been good because we're short. So apparently, like, because Kyle was having an issue because he was so big and he'd have to like get up and down, like crawl around underneath. So like
Mm,
maybe because we're short, it would have been an advantage. But
yeah.
I was just so tired thinking about like I was thinking about like vertigo. I'm like, I'm too dizzy for that. I can't get up and get down and get up and blow. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was
Mhm.
thinking like I'm gonna be sitting here going, I'm like
Yeah,
my lung capacity sucks at the best of times. And then I would be totally out of air.
yeah. And then, so the other part of it is Jed gets picked, right? And
Right.
like he's playing, and what was it Kiefer said? He said something about like, oh, I'm really hoping Jed's gonna pull this out because he's a comp beast. And I'm like, didn't didn't he just
Is
win
he?
one competition?
Yeah,
Wasn't
like it
it just
was one,
one?
like last veto. That was it.
Like, are they saying that he's a comp beast based on his frame? Like Ty, has Ty won anything?
I don't think.
Right. So
No.
everybody's like talking about how these guys are these great big strong competitors. They're just
Hmm.
great big strong guys. They're not comp beasts. They're not winning any competitions. The women are winning the competitions.
Yeah. Like
Like,
legitimately, all that happens is they go to the gym.
and they're not that smart. So like maybe they're the ones that should stick around. Because
Maybe.
I'll tell you what, if it's at the end of the game and Ty is sitting up next to fucking Austin, I'm voting for Austin. She was a better player. She was smarter. She won more competitions. Or Vic, if he sat next to Vic, I'm voting for Vic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just, I don't know. I think that they're considered because if they keep saying, oh, these guys are comp beasts, they're gonna pull it out, they're gonna pull it out. I'm like, I haven't seen it yet.
Right.
So
Not even a bit. No.
yeah, I had to make a note about that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's true. I haven't
Like
seen much from them yet.
they're not winning anything. They're just assume. Same with Latoya. Like, she was a good player, but she wasn't
Yeah.
like they're not winning games. They're not
But that
beasts.
was the funny thing. Like the three of them kind of was just like, oh yeah, we're all gonna be together. We're like all so strong. We're all
And then
this, we're all
fucking
that. And
ruled
it's
the
like you did
house.
nothing. You did
Like
nothing.
they were a little
Right.
delusional, I think.
And ugh. And the fact that they think that they can read people and yet we're sitting here just like, You have no idea what's going on. It's just like full on right over your head. You're not getting
Now,
any
the
of it.
thing that I also think is kind of cool is that we're seeing it from the outside. So we're
Oh,
seeing
of
the stuff
course.
that they don't see. So like I always say that too, because I'm like, you're an idiot. I'm watching, like, you're so stupid. But then
Right.
I'm like, you know what? They're probably are being played very well.
Oh,
The fact that
maybe.
like they don't see what's going on, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'd like to think that my like lie detector would go off better than some of theirs.
Uh, I mean,
It's
yes and
psychological
no.
in
Like,
how.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I base a lot of my say feeling well, I mean, I base a lot of my instinct on my gut feelings. Like it's all
I do too.
instinct to me. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Like if
Weird
I'm getting an
vibes. There's a
inkling and a
reason.
weird vibe, there's a reason for it for the most
Mhm.
part, right? And I tend to be
Right.
somewhat on there, you know what I mean? Like it's not very often that I'm wrong about
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, you know? So I feel like I would hope that if I went in there, my instincts would kick in a little bit as well. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
I'd be
Play
able
with
to
the gut.
read people a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, I'm
And
not
like
there.
make sense out of things too. Cause I feel like certain things, it's like, okay, if your gut's telling you one thing and then your head is also like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No,
Like
no.
you should be able to put it together. But
Yeah.
love that Roe won the veto.
Yeah. I was actually kind of happy because
It
I don't
changes
really
it
care
up.
if he goes, well, I don't care if he goes home. It doesn't bother me whether he's there or if he doesn't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like in all honesty, I was happy that he won and that Kyle didn't win because all I could think was if he wins, he takes himself off and
Mhm.
then Kyle goes away. Just
Yeah.
go away.
I would be thrilled if Kyle went home this week.
Yeah.
I thought that it was awesome that Roe won
Hmm.
because again, I don't want him to go home, but I love that there's so much happening.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
it shakes
US
it
Big
up, right?
Brother, nobody uses the veto, and the people you want
I
to
know.
win the veto never win the veto. And
Yeah.
like, it's very predictable. And this one is just not predictable. And I'm really
No.
enjoying it. Like I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying it. Yeah. And that was what I made a note of. I love when things get shook up.
Well,
So
what was the sad part is you missed out on a few seasons where like they used to be what's that word? You know, when they had sponsored. Where sponsored by Cheetos. So there
yeah.
always used to be like a Cheetos twist. And then they would just throw in something else into the game and just fuck everybody up. It
Well,
was so great.
there's gonna be something. There's a blind HOH, I think I made a note of
Oh,
coming up.
is
You
there? I
missed it,
missed that
didn't you?
altogether. I must have
Okay,
just
we will get
turned that
in.
off.
Invisible HOH, it's called. And
Oh,
they're like,
see?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
You
gonna,
know
I
what
don't know
that
if they're
means,
gonna
don't
talk
you?
about it tomorrow or if they're gonna talk about it next week. I think it might be tomorrow that they're gonna reveal what that
Oh,
means.
probably because tomorrow's eviction night. So then they'll
Exactly.
start playing that. So you know what that's probably going to be like? It's probably going to be like one of those ones where like the competition is timed, but they never reveal who actually won,
Oh,
right?
okay. And then
So like they'll
just
put
two
them
people
into a
get put.
separate room.
Oh,
Yeah,
ooh.
right?
Oh, I'm so excited for tomorrow night.
It's gonna be so exciting.
I did get a little bit confused about
Hmm.
Austin and Bray talking to Kyle and Rowe about putting up Vic. So I thought that they might be trying to throw off Kyle and Rowe, but then
Hmm.
it seemed like they were actually turning on her, like they're putting up her name. They're like, you should put her on the
Yeah,
block.
right?
And so Vic's an island now. She needs
Yep.
to pair up with someone. Like she's probably gonna be one of the next
But
ones
I
to go.
think the problem is that everybody saw that I really think that when she was fine until
The
after the
Beth,
eviction
yeah.
and that Beth thing, and then the way that she was trying to backpedal, and then she started
She
coming
played too
off as
hard.
too fake.
Mm-hmm.
She was too fake. It was
Yeah.
just too much. And then anyway, I think that
Because
she just
she
got
thinks that she has like a good in with every single person in the house.
mhm.
And the truth is she doesn't have a good in with anyone.
No, I
And
don't
I
think so.
thought that she was at least tight with Bray and
Austin and Braden.
Austin.
Yeah.
But like she's not. Right? Like
No,
but
I
that
mean,
surprised me tonight.
yeah, it surprised me too because I thought that they had that whole like three of them with their little lip gloss
Glossy
thing or
dolls or
gloss, yeah,
something.
whatever to Jesus that was. But yeah, like I thought that they had that on the go, but I don't know, it seemed like it turned sour pretty quickly. I
Mhm.
think, realistically, Braden and Austin were so close
Yeah,
that
she probably just couldn't get in.
it probably just kind of got pushed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they were a trio with Julie,
Right.
and then
Yep.
Julie left, and so like they've just stayed together. Like they click
Yep.
really well, right?
Yep.
And I think they're a wicked duo. I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
I did make another note. What, Vic smelling the food?
Oh my God. Yes.
I
Yes.
knew it.
Yes.
I was watching it. I was like, Crystal is fucking yelling at her TV right now. And then I
I
was
was
going,
like,
that's so me.
no, here's the thing. Okay. Number one,
COVID.
he wasn't even there. Number two, I mean, I guess they don't really have to worry about COVID
I
considering
know,
that
but it's
they've
just
been in
like
their
in this
house. But
world,
that's where I would definitely have gone. Yeah. Right.
like in this world, they're like we don't blow on birthday cakes anymore.
But also, like, again, with the don't mess with my fucking food.
Mhm.
Right? I'm just like, if I saw somebody's face that close to my food, I would
And it was like she could have
literally
eaten it. Like if she stuck
like,
her tongue out, she would have got some sauce on her tongue.
oh my God. I don't even think he was there to see it,
He
but
got up
Kyle was
and
there.
like as he was walking away.
Punched her right in the fucking throat, man. I seriously would
It's a
have.
good way to
I would
get
have,
kicked off of Big Brother.
right? I will end you.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? This is worth it.
Yep. Yep. Oh,
For the
100%.
jugular.
Yep. Can I take my food with me? That's all that matters.
Yeah. I made a note that Kyle was making a good point to put up Vic, but I don't think that he was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Austin, yeah. So Vic, yeah, that was the other thing. So Austin and Bray were saying to put out Vic, and then Vic goes to Kiefer and says, "You should put up Austin." And I'm like, "What is
Right?
happening? What is
Yes.
happening?" And that made me
Yep.
really mad. I said, "Vic is saying Austin, what happened to the trio? Ugh." I wrote ugh. And then
Yeah,
I
of
also
course.
said, I'm going to be so mad if Austin goes up. And guess what I am? Fucking
Mad
mad.
because Austin went up.
Yeah. And then I also got mad because Kiefer said, well, he got all like attitude, like fucking chest up, like, oh, that's Big Brother. And that made me so mad. I'm like, okay, so now you wake up and play the fucking game. Like, oh, I've been a roller coaster with Kiefer this week. I've
I
just
know.
been like a like and a dislike and a like and a dislike. He's great for TV.
He is, yeah. Right? Because sometimes he's good and then other times he's just like feels, I don't know. I kind of like, I still feel like I just want him to like really pull through. I still like him.
I don't like him. I'm so mad
I
at him. I'm
know.
like, he's just, oh, he's just like,
I
I don't know
know.
what to say. I don't know what to say because he gets all mopey and is like, oh, like he tried to play too hard. He started lying. He got caught in a lie. He backpedaled. And then he's like, my character means everything to me. Like, I'm not going to lie. If I got to lie and cheat, I'm not going to do that. And blah, blah, blah. Then he gets in, he starts stabbing people in the back, which is Big Brother, which is fantastic. But then he's got this cock of the walk attitude, looking at the camera, like all of this stuff was his idea. And like, only a quarter of it was his idea, and he's just
Yeah.
basically doing what other people say while he's being played by everybody else, but acting like he's this big superior. I just can't deal with him. I'm ready for him to go home.
I just hope that like I hope that when the next HOH comes up, and if any of his actual Sunsetters alliance, that's, I guess we can call that loosely, still name that. I just hope that they play to keep him as well. You know what I mean? That they're still going to defend him, because quite frankly, for him to stay aligned with them after this bullshit from last week, like basically considering him just disposable, right? You know,
And then what did Ty say? He said something. I did make a note of it. He said something about like this alliance will never crumble, or I'll
oh
never
my
go
God, while they were
back on
playing
it.
chess,
Yeah, he says
like, don't lose trust in this alliance, blah blah blah. And I'm just like,
we didn't turn on each other and we never will. Is what
right?
he
It's like,
said. We didn't
you
turn on each
kind
other,
of
we
did
never will.
though.
Like I guess they didn't because there were two people up in their alliance and they had to pick one.
Well, they had to pick somebody. I get
Like,
that, but
so I do get that, but like, and we never will, dude. What do you think? It's four of you, and he's the first to go.
right?
You're
Like,
talking
let's
to the
be
guy that you're gonna
honest.
cut like literally tomorrow. If they put Beth and Kiefer up on the block together, who's going home?
Yeah, well, we both know,
Like
right? If the
Kiefer.
three of them have any choice in it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I just think, and I will say, just to backtrack to the last episode, what in the actual fuck was with the isosceles triangle?
Oh my god, I forgot to fucking talk about that. It's so awkward. It's so awkward.
I'm just
Like
like, yep,
Beth. Oh my god. I mean, like you go for it. They're both single, but like it's just such a weird situation because
it's
they're
so
best
weird.
friends
Yeah,
and now three of them are best friends. I'm like, are you guys gonna be like a polygamy relationship? Is this like
yeah, like what's
reverse
happening?
polygamy? Like, can women have multiples in polygamy? I don't know how it works, but
I mean, if
I mean,
that's the
go
thing
for
that's on the
it.
table,
Go for it. But
right?
it's just so awkward. It's so awkward.
It is. It's super
It's
awkward.
like these little flirt mates. It's so not what I predicted. Like,
No, I know.
I thought Ty and Victoria were going to end up together. Man,
So
predictions
weird.
from day one to like the end of the season are just the best. I'm really
Yeah.
happy we're doing this because I don't think there's ever been a time where I actually recorded how I felt about things at the
No.
beginning versus the end. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
excited to have this like little bit of record to
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on
Definitely.
with that isosceles. And
I know.
this show
Right.
is just
And again,
weird.
here he is bringing out stuff that he like, real life,
Yes,
like
because
smart stuff.
who
He's
remembers
so
what is what for triangles? Like I don't remember. I know equilateral. You remember, don't you?
yes, of course I do. I love geometry. God dang it. No, I really do though. Such a nerd.
Here's my life, bitch. I'm getting you a protractor for your birthday.
I already have two upstairs.
Okay. All right. Well, you just ruined it. I don't think we can be friends anymore.
Oh god, it's only because my children needed them for school. But anyway.
Yeah, sure. That's why it says property of Crystal on it.
I use the stencil thing that's in the actual kit to put my name on. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our love of triangles. But at the very end of the show today, they said like stay tuned for I believe tomorrow, where we'll see the invisible HOH, and they're like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, tell me. I'm like, you have to tune in.
Stay tuned tomorrow. Yeah. So that'll
Really
be
looking
exciting
forward to
then.
it.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see who goes home. That's really all I'm looking for at this point. I'm just like, is it Kyle? It better be Kyle.
I
It's
don't know
gonna be
what to
Kyle, right?
expect. If it's Austin, I'm gonna be really sad.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
would
be
be too.
really, really sad because I think that she does have the potential to go really far in this game.
Yeah, I think so too.
And if she doesn't go home, I think it's another tick for her to save to the end to be like, well, I was up on the block this many times and didn't go home. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because that's part of it too.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Right?
Like that's part of it too. Like it's kind of both. It's like if you're on the block a good few times,
Mhm.
and don't go home and you get to the end, that's a good way to spin it. Like, look at how many times I was on the block. I checked myself down or I convinced the house not to vote me out or whatever. But then
Right.
the other side is it's either that or make it to the end without ever being put up. And then
Right.
that's also like, did you see how far I made it? Like that bodes well to how I am with friendships and
Yeah,
socialization.
exactly. Nobody ever felt like they needed to put me up in order to get, further ahead. Yeah,
so
that's true.
Special player that way, but
Mhm.
anyway, so I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow night's episode.
Me too.
And then Mondays, and then we will unload again for Thursday of next week.
Yep.
So I keep saying
excited.
tomorrow night. It's I guess whoever's listening, it's tonight's episode.
Tonight's
We're
episode.
gonna confuse a lot of people. They're gonna tune in on Fridays and be like, "What the fuck?"
Right?
But you know what? Listen, it's 2021. If you don't have your PVR set to record Big Brother by now, then that's your own fault.
Yeah, or it's on demand.
Or
Like,
it's on
get with the
demand.
times.
Come on.
That's how I watch it all the time,
You watch
except
it
for on
for
Wednesdays.
free on like global.ca or something too. Probably.
Oh,
I'm
probably.
not plugging it because I could be lying to you. I didn't look it
Yeah,
up.
but it's definitely on demand. I mean, like, pretty much anywhere at this point. So, like, that's how I watch usually Thursday night and Monday nights is on demand that I watch it, and then I only watch
Wednesdays
tonight's
live.
Wednesdays live, yeah, because it's
I do the
early.
same thing, but I watch mine on recorded. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to habit stack because I have not been getting up in the morning at all for my
Nice.
exercise. So
Yep.
tomorrow I'm going to habit stack. I'm just going to get up and I'm going to watch a show on the treadmill. So I will
Excellent.
have a little walk, wake myself up, watch a show. I'll be up
Yeah.
early and I'll feel good. So I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Excellent. That's
Yeah.
good. See,
So for anybody
I'm not.
listening, that's what I'm gonna do. Crystal's gonna actually. I would say that you're gonna sleep in, but I know you're gonna be up at the same time.
Yeah, I'm
so
not.
You're just
Yeah,
gonna
I'll still be up.
probably be working.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So catch us. Today is Thursday. Catch us tomorrow while we are going to talk to Megan Warren, who's the owner of a local shop here called Ethereal Boutique, which is the sweetest store. Maybe we need to do an episode from her store one day where we like try on clothes.
We should just go in there and like go in with our Instagram and do some reels.
We should do reels like when you're in like a teeny bopper show where they like try on clothes and they like open the curtain. And,
yes,
like, let's
do it.
Music. Okay.
Let's do it. She'd let us.
Oh, sure, absolutely. She would love it. She would
100%.
style us. I need her to style me. She's got really good taste.
Me too. We should make a trip there, especially now that we're in level 2.
We're gonna plan that.